Oh man, no sound. Thank you. I can't believe that. Well, I didn't say much anyway. I was on a minute. So I was just talking to Ron Gross. I thought he was the only one in here so far. Well, there's nine now. But Ron, I was saying that earlier I went up on the YouTube platform. So I use StreamYard, the free one. And you get so many hours or something like that. But I don't know how to use that camera, is what I was saying, um, on the YouTube live platform. On the StreamYard platform, I know how to use it. That's what happened. That's what was going on behind the scenes. Because I was gonna go to 11:30, then it was like 11:25. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. And Ron, by the way, last night, that was a fluke. I know I really need to set these, and I've been saying this since the beginning of this channel. So maybe I should just shut up. I know I should be doing lives and videos on stuff. I know it. I know it. How do I do it? I don't know. We can check off the list. I really want to know. And to my little friend, who's literally sitting on the border where all these guys, undocumented citizens, are coming over. Why don't you do something? Actually, you're part of the problem, aren't you? So, just kidding. I hope your mamacita feels better. Yes, say. All right. So that's my shout out to you. Okay. Thanks, Tammy. Tammy Kennedy. You know what? Tammy Kennedy was driving me insane. For real. Like I've given way too much thought to Tammy Kennedy. Um, and what I mean by that is Tammy Kennedy obviously knows me from Lewisburg. Knows every. I mean, the comments are spot on, but will not reveal himself or herself, or whatever. And I'm not muted anymore. Just see avatar, no sound or vid yet. Seen the video's not up. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, Kim's tripping. Thank you. Finally, okay, okay, I got you now. So yeah, I didn't know that the video wasn't on, but okay. Anyway, yeah, Tammy Kennedy from Lewis knows the Lewisburg, knows what was going on, and asked you to reach out to me. Won't do it. If you're a correctional officer, I don't think you are. I don't think many have. Many have. So, but yeah, you might know more stories to add to this stuff, right? That's what I'm saying. So, and B1, yeah, I was muted for a second. Take two, no sound on gross, just see an avatar. Larry Davis, finally. Bella Rose. Bob, serious question. While you're in jail, can you still drop pre-recorded videos? Absolutely, Ron. 100%. So I was making videos in anticipation of me getting locked up last week or the week before. And they were kind of pushed together. Each one I was trying to aim for 15 minutes and do like just one a week. And depending on the institution and the SIS or the what is it, Special Investigative Service, whatever, the guys who run the joint, the intelligence agency, depending on them, would be whether or not they're going to really push if I do recorded calls from prison. They shouldn't, and there's a lot of technicalities. Jim Lopez, thank you. What are you saying? What up, Rob? Glad I caught alive. Now I have something to listen to while I wash my dishes. Okay, Jim. Right on. So Ron, yeah, for sure. So if you have a business going prior to incarceration, okay, so it's murky. Again, you know what? Set the rules aside. Forget the rules, like everything else. Um, in the Bureau of Prisons, it depends on whether the staff think you're a problem, whether they like you, dislike you, who you're. There's a lot of factors that play into it. Okay, so I believe I could, when I go, whatever it's 2 months from now, that it should not be a problem doing pre-recorded phone calls from in there because there'd be a lot of material, obviously. Um, but it just, like I said, it would depend where I'm at, who's there, do I know them, do they hate me, do they not like me for just all kinds. Hell, he could still do live shows from the pen. Uh, yeah. So one of the problems, Alabama, one of the problems would be the phone minutes. You only get, well, you get 500 minutes now. And my friend by the border, Did you know that? Used to be 300 when we were in there. Then COVID hit. And from what I understand, they never did away. They stayed at 5 minutes. I'm going to go back to you. At least you can still run your channel and have actual revenue stream. Uh, yes, Ron. Yes. So even if I put out, even if one video was a week, just like the channel is the way it is right now with me being flaky and all over the place, it would, it would hit over. So you have to have $100 in order to get the money. Okay. I can make that. Even if it's just 100, that would be like fine just for my necessities. That's the truth. And I had that set up. So I had that set up. And again, thanks to OG Mike, he was going to make it happen. Secret Mafia Grandpa. What's up, Rob? How are you, bro? So Secret Mafia Grandpa. Thank you. I'm doing good. Bella, I'll get your comment in a minute. So might as well make a mob announcement while you're here, Secret Mafia Grandpa. Benny Giratano just got a hold of me. I expect to hear from him tomorrow. A lot of people, Benny G, you guys know, did a bunch of recordings. The one problem I have is the sound. So I had 2 phones back then, one of which I can record whatever people bitched about it. And I get it because I'm just running basically an iPhone and a camera system and a microphone that like a teenage vlogger would use. And that's not from people who haven't reached out to me and offered. There's somebody working with one of the guys in the MobTube genre. When I first started, I think I was about 2,000 subs, reached out, offered to put a studio in and all kinds of stuff. You know, one day I'll grow up and get there. So yeah, Benny Giratano. And if it depends, if he calls, I might just pop on and do a live right there. It just depends because I do have like a microphone I can use from the phone, and I tested earlier. I think it would work okay. Bella Rose. Last Thursday, not a couple days ago, last Thursday, the week before, I was sentenced to 14 months in federal prison, sentence deferred for 60 days. That was pending the outcome of my cancer stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So you guys have missed last night. Most of you did. It didn't happen until 3 to 4 in the morning Central Time. I read 2 articles that I had written back in the day. I first started writing professionally. I don't know. I first started freelance writing, I guess you would say. Well, it wasn't freelance. It was for a blog. My website, convictinc.com. In 2000, the end of 2007, beginning of 2008, I think it was. And I needed material for the site. So I just wrote about anything and everything. It didn't matter. I just wrote. And eventually I got to write for Vice, thefix.com, some other, professional websites, I guess you'd say, professional outlets, whatever. And I'm looking at them right now, a stack of articles that I wrote. I have so much stuff from prison that I brought home, and that's all YouTube content potentially. And I have it. And I mean, just there's somebody in this audience right now that knows the stacks of legal work and paperwork and manuscripts that I have. So somebody suggested not long ago who's been following me since I first was on the internet, that I start reading some of these articles. Good idea and a bad idea. I have days where it's like I can't read shit. It's true. And people, I know I got comments about this. They're saying, so because you're hired, not hired, I already know, but whatever. It's true. Always been like that ever since I was a kid. So if I can read it, okay, they'll be fine. Chad Marks, and so there's some other people. Chad reads from his book that works out pretty good. So a few nights back, I started looking at some material, and my mom was putting away every article because I would send it every article. She has it all like perfect in binders. I have a bunch scattered out everywhere. Okay. So it made it like really easy. And I started looking back, and like I said this morning, I've looked and I read some of the stuff, and I was like, I don't even know that person. I haven't put pen to paper or actually written anything except for something on what's that? What's not Twitter, Patreon. I was going to start blogging on that here a few months back. I did write something. It came out pretty smooth and I was happy with it. Writing's hard for me. It can be. I have spent a month on a paragraph. That's no bullshit. So it just depends. But the way, I guess it was just because I was in the joint. I had so many magazines and I was listening to talk radio. Talk radio stayed on in the cell no matter what. And it was like I couldn't absorb enough information. So my writings, it's like mixed with religion, politics, all kinds of stuff. And as I said last night, and I'll say before I do this, um, during the Obama campaign season, I was really for him in the beginning. Sarah Palin came onto the scene, and I got the Palin bug, meaning, like I thought she was a genius. She was just so simple. It was the opposite. And she has a basic conservative message that really went aligned with a lot of the beliefs or the views that I grew up with. My dad would be considered a blue dog Democrat. He's from here. That's the reason I'm in Arkansas today. Just had this conversation a little while ago with somebody who's watching. And the Democratic Party that he voted for his entire life is not that same party. Now, I went like far right wing in my beliefs for some years, and I've centered out a lot. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Last night, I read 2 articles that some of my black friends would say I was racist or whatever. It was about I called it the uncivil rights movement. You guys didn't get that. It's towards the end of last night's live. The paper that it was written on, the words were real little. This is bigger. I can read it a lot easier. And what else there? Uncivil rights movement. Damn, I forgot now. That was what the title said too. I drew a blank. Anyway, so there'll be videos coming out shortly. They're actually easy for me to do, and they're about the prison stuff. A lot of them are about prison stuff. This not necessarily. This was undocumented workers. YouTube will like hit me for saying the wrong thing. Undocumented workers. I titled it "Illegal Immigrants in Federal Prison Go on the Record," and I got a lot of feedback on this article, by the way. And there's a guy in here, Linus. Did I say it right? Linus, who you'll see in a minute was worried about his daughter not getting a birthday present. A lady sent me a message via Core Links, which is the institutional, what would you call it? Not monitoring system, even though it's the institutional. It gave us access to email people, text people, and email people on the street. So I had a Facebook page and people that would forward the messages from Facebook to me. And a whole bunch of people reached out, but a lady actually bought this guy's girl her birthday present. So this article was actually, and people sent him money. A couple people sent him money. So, I mean, it kind of scored for being on blogs and stuff like that. Excuse me. By the way, I got a parcel on one of my teeth, and really I need to go get a new one. Okay. And it slips a little bit, and it keeps messing the back of my tongue up and getting like a little sore from like cutting it, whatever. So right now I'm sitting there talking and I'm going like that, and I can feel where it's like been nicked. So whaz me. Okay. Let me go ahead and start reading this. Let me read a couple comments. Okay. I'm alive. What the fuck? Okay. Let me go back here. Let's see what's up. Just stay away from Procter and Cole. That sounds like a horrible. Okay, wrong. All right. Eric Pack, thank you for that. After you get off paper, it gets much easier. 14 months and no paper might be a blessing in disguise. Okay, Tam, so you're not a CO now, I know. Um, I'm alive. What the fuck? I don't know what you mean. Hello. I acknowledged you. Eric, thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, can you legally, okay, excuse me, and now my nose is running. Can you legally still make money and earn a living in the free world while being incarcerated? Do they send personal banking statements to prisons? Okay, so if you have a pre-existing business, or God damn it, now the sore's bothering me. Or if you have stopped, you have the right to get on the phone and do whatever. Now, I know guys that have got locked up in the hole for years, over what, 18 months for millions of dollars worth of stocks. What the hell is his name? He's an Italian guy. Not mob, so to speak, but in that life, or tiptoeing around that life, whatever. He had a 30-year sentence, I think, for money laundering. But this guy was on the phone constantly moving stocks around, and they were locking him up for it, and he had the right to do it. The policy on it is, it's vague. So the interpretation, it's again, it's whatever the staff in that joint want to do. That's just how it works. So to get to your question, free world being incarcerated, you can have banking statements. So look, I formed Convict Inc., the corporation, a subchapter S corporation, while at Butner FCI 1. Okay. I did a video about this a long time ago. So how that worked was, I met a guy who was from Utah. His last name was Bucci. His dad was, and he was high. I didn't know it at the time, but I guess he told on everybody. And was one of these guys that were bouncing from joint to joint, checking in, whatever. He'd get in with the fellas, like he'd get in with the Woods, and he'd bounce. But knowledgeable guy. He was in the hospital with me. He had bladder cancer. As a matter of fact, he had his bladder removed. What I'm going to be dealing with here shortly, they're going to want me to really take my bladder out. And he ran this whole thing down to me. He was at one of the other prison hospitals, Rochester, and he met an Italian guy who taught him what I would call the corporate scam. That's how I'd put it. That is, they're actually forming LLCs. They would form an LLC for the purpose of corporate credit. It's very basic. It's actually legitimate, but it can cross over to being illegal. He ran it down to me, and then he backed it up because I really didn't believe him, because it didn't sound believable. He had his girl from the street send me all the LLCs that he was having her form from inside the joint. 19, 20, 21, whatever it was. And she was 19-year-old in Utah. A street girl. I was going to say dope, you know what? But spun out on meth. He was in prison on heroin and opiates. And she was out there buying new cars every other month. And they would just get one corporate. They were doing pyramids with corporate credit cards. Okay. It still works if somebody wants to go down that road. And it's not illegal until you don't further your business purpose. So it can get murky. Okay. So when he initially told me about this, I had criminal thinking on my mind. I knew people on the street in both worlds, legal and illegal, and my intent was to do what he did. That is, form a bunch of LLCs, use my name, my social security number, I had life without parole care, right? And by the way, can still get credit, and then burn them up. Pyramid the credit cards, pay off one another. Now it's more complicated nowadays, and I didn't know anything about the internet or banking systems. I just knew the basics, but I was going to have it done, burn it up, and so be it. Send me half the money, you keep half the money. Then I got sober, and then I came up with Convict Inc., which was originally a pen pal website, or it was going to be. It started off, I had a family member start building it, became a lot of problems, it failed. And then Convict International, that failed. So, and you know what? I can't say Convict Inc. really failed because it put me on the map. internationally as far as a writer, and good things happen because of it. It's just me who didn't follow through when I got out of prison. That's true. But so I came up with the Cold Convict Inc. idea, and I made it legit instead of using the corporation to do something bad. I used the corporation, um, kind of a way around the rules. Actually, they let me form that corporation from prison as the president or CEO. I think I held, forgot the titles I held, and somebody else held a different one. Got a bank account on the street, used a Wyoming corporation. I did it out of Wyoming. There's reasons that I don't need to get into. I used a bank that is friendly to Wyoming corporations. I knew how much to put in a bank account, and you can take the money out in 30 days, and then your credit gets blown up. And there's a couple other things to it. But I was using that money to further convicting from in the joint. That was the whole purpose. And again, it failed. But the SIS guys, I didn't know that they were on me the whole time and letting me do it. I was directing the whole corporation to be formed. That's not legal, that part. Now, if the corporation was already formed and I had to say so over the phone, I could direct people. So again, the way the policy is written is vague. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen guys that had multi-million-dollar businesses that they dropped the hammer on. And the reason they did because the guys were getting, I know one in particular, he was getting high and they cracked at him. He got a dirty urine. They cracked at him to tell him people he didn't. So they shut him down his business on the street or from getting on the phone and dealing with his business. So again, my point is it's all up to them. So that came from Duckford, Alabama's comment. Bedtime, you vampire. Catch the replay tomorrow. Ross. Okay, Gino. So tonight I'm actually gonna not wait till like 5. Cuban B, what's up? All the best, thank you. And I'm gonna what's gonna be one by about 3. I'll be in bed by 3. Rob, I'm Crow. Larry Davis. Crow? Wait, are you talking about Crow from no, because it'd be W. I'm not talking about Crow from I was thinking about Crow from Leavenworth. Hey Rob, you met Chad Marks in prison. How did you meet him? Just curious. Chad and I have never met in person. We have a mutual friend, Cedric Dean. Chad interviewed him. Talked to Cedric just the other day. I've been going to interview him for years now. We have a mutual friend and put us together. Chad called. I called him a couple weeks ago before my court stuff. He called me back. I missed him. I called him back. So we played tag. We never caught up. That's the truth. Lately, Chad's a good guy. Good guy. Glad to catch a man. I think we're on the same time as you. It's 11:45 p.m. Alberta, Canada. Doug Ross. It's almost 1 here. Okay, so you're an hour behind in Canada. All right. Thanks, Canada. Oh, okay, puppy. Prayed your puppy is safe somewhere. Okay, Doug Ross. Chad is the man. Yeah, Chad's got it. And yeah, he's trying to help me a lot. So the puppy, her name's Abby. I mentioned last night on my live that I had her for less than 24 hours. Labrador Pit Bull mix. A friend of mine asked me if I wanted her. I hadn't seen him forever. Asked me if I wanted a puppy. I've been toying with the idea of a dog for since July, for sure, since July of last year, since the summer. I mean, one was ready to, many times to get a dog. Then I think I can't really get my own life together. I mean, these thoughts have crossed my mind. So anyway, maybe a dog will help. I saw the puppy I think it was like a couple weeks ago, whatever. For just and there's 7 of them. I think there was a 9 in the litter or whatever, but they're all in the back of a house in a patio area that's boarded up, and little fat puppies, And I agreed. I've got 60 days. I'm out. I go in March 29th. I went back and forth because I'm sentenced to 14 months. Ultimately, I guess what it really came down to was I felt like I needed the dog, and I felt like the dog needs me. Obviously not. So I gave her a bath like 3 times because she stunk so bad. When I picked her up, a lot skinnier than when I last saw, so she looks malnourished. I'm not nothing against the owners or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of dogs. Um, but when I went and got her, I literally pulled up, didn't shut the engine off, walked out, knocked on the door. Girl gets out, opens the door. All these dogs come running out. Right? I mean, just all of them. And I saw her and I snatched her up. Boom, like real quick. Okay, I gotta go. So I was probably in that yard a minute, maybe. Dog in back of the car. Boom, take off. So the dog got like snatched. Really, when you got that's what I did. I dog snatched it. Right, like boom. Been around brothers and sisters the whole that's whole life gone. Back of the car. So I brought her down here. Paged her 3 times. Finally got her right. And she was toying on the idea of being friendly with me, but then she'd go find like a little spot to sneak behind and stay behind, of course. So when it came time for me to go to bed, it was like 5 in the morning. That's like my normal. Um, brought her with me, slept perfect. She was like, if I rolled over, she rolled, she rolled over like to be on my belly. No bullshit. It was pretty cool actually. That's and had her the next morning, got out, didn't go to the bathroom here at all. Um, she didn't want to go outside, and I went out there with her. She went to the bathroom, did her thing, tried to come back in. I went back outside to sit down. And I don't know if I was putting on shoe sock, whatever. The phone, I was on the phone, and I look at her, and I'll never forget. She put her nose up in the air, caught a whiff of something, probably dogs, and in a blink, darted, gone. I don't have any fence structure on this big property, gone. So I saw which direction she was headed, so I ran over to the front window to get eye contact. Saw her, grabbed my shoe. I think I had one shoe out there, whatever. Put her on, never saw her again. Gone. I looked everywhere. I heard dogs that way barking. So I headed that way, saw a glimpse. I actually saw a glimpse of her for a second. And searched some last night, wrote her off as coyote food. Wrote her off as coyote food. And I mean that. Coyotes come, they've been coming. So they're all over here. But for whatever reason, it seems like the last couple of nights, they're like in the yard right here. So I figured she was gone. I slept I mean, like a log. I got up, so okay, it was 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm in a bathrobe, drinking a cup of coffee, watching TV, and somebody knocks on the door. I don't have many visitors down here, okay, which is nice, but I just don't. It's my neighbor that's probably been there like a month and a half or whatever. Never met. There's like a little tiny home area down the street, if you want to call it a street, whatever. She said, "Are you missing the puppy?" And I was like, "Man, I wanted to hug the lady." I'm like, "Well, you got to be kidding." She's like, "She's under my house." Man, I booked it, got dressed, ran over there. She was out in the yard. People have 5 dogs. They're boxers, boxer dogs. Okay, I think that yeah, they're boxers. Um, she had them all in the house. So I went over there. She's under the house. I'm like, "Oh, screw it. I'll just crawl under there." I'm not what I mean. The crawl space. I mean, I can do like like if I was swimming on my like crawl on my belly. And the problem is there's like little spaces, and I saw her squeeze out of them. So she's skinny, like I said, and this stuff, she's like a little rat. I mean, she was just. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm screwed here. So I mean, I got a fishnet. I mean, I tried so much. Walked away. I put a bowl, but she 3 bowls of freaking food on me, and of course, at that point, she's not coming out from underneath the house. So the lady doesn't care. Showed me her dogs don't mind her. So I agreed tomorrow to like really deal with it. She's gonna be and let me tell you something. She enjoyed it. Like she knew that she was getting she enjoyed the hell out of it. So when I get her back, she will be spending time in the special housing unit. I'm putting her in the hole for sure, bread and water for sure. I'll do a round every hour and maybe give her a doggy pad to go to the bathroom. Maybe not, just depends how I feel, like COs do. And yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, if people never been in prison, they might not understand that. But anyway, so all right. Let me see what you guys said. Uh, only answer is good. Any news on the puppy? There you go. I just answered that. Why did you leave Lewisburg Medical? Yeah, yeah, yes, I did. I was in B block when I left. In case you don't remember. Mikey Griggs, what's up? Yeah, so I left because of medical. They took me on a private jet on a 5-man hold, by the way. What's up, bro? I just put it on there, Mikey. Say Mickey first, Mikey. 5-man hold, 5 COs they took to take me on a small jet to North Carolina, like an hour and some minutes. Crazy, Rob. I know ID. You got a puppy, man. The other night, like I know what dogs do for you after a few months. It's a full-time job, man. At a puppy months, my dog fucked off in the city, found her 5 miles. Yeah, Doug. So, and I'm already thinking about what's going to happen, what I'm going to do. Blah blah. Should check wherever you got her from. They follow the scent, so it's about 10 miles. Kim, Kim's tripping. Uh, I thought about that, and actually, if you want to know the truth, the way she pointed her nose, it wasn't that direction. It was, and I'm like, can a puppy like 2 months, can it really do that? And it's all this is all mountains now. This ain't no, there's no houses. Well, maybe 10 scattered out through the mountain range or something like that. I mean, it's like back there, okay? I'm right on the Arkansas Oklahoma line, and there's a road called the Gap. And it's just Oklahoma's like on this side of the tree line, basically. And it's deep up in there for real. So, but tough when no wheels looking. Tough when no wheels looking. Tough when no wheels. Well, she's literally across the street. I'm not sure what you mean, but she's literally across the street. Oh, oh, you're talking about Snake. I don't. You know what? I don't on this property. So I've been here since June of 2021. I think it's been. The judge needs to keep you out of jail for that, girls, and get a lease. Oh, let me tell you something. After I found out she was, I went and she's got hard. She's hit. She's hit. Let me tell you something for a minute. And I'm not mean. I'm just joking. But I was like, oh yeah, she's going to the hole. Little Nova TV. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, so I've got So I've got big. I mean, I got a lot of shit, chains and stuff like that. I'm glad you found her. Um, Sounds like she's gonna keep you busy. You know what? I got a photo. Let me see something. I can post it on the community. Can I? Yeah, I could. I'll do that while I'm talking. So yeah, I can post on the community page through the phone. Anyway, for the dog no wheels. Oh, I get it. Greeting chat. Zip. What's up? Busy, good brothers. Joey Bay. Hey brother, how are you doing? Recovering well from the surgery. So Joey, I don't know if you saw last night's live. Yes, I'm recovering well. Yeah, there's still a few pre-surgery issues. Um, I'm late, but I made it live still, Joey. But yeah. Uh, so yeah, I talked about it last night. And if you didn't hear, so I've had recurring bladder cancer. It's my 24th recurrence, and it's been superficial uh, up until this one went into my bladder wall. But like I said last night as well, how do I put a photo up on here though? It could have been worse. There's good news in that in the what do you call it, pathology report as well. It's not all bad, but it did go on my bladder wall, and I know that they're going to. I know what the conversation is going to be. I already know. I can tell you right now. It's going to be take your bladder out, take your bladder out, take your bladder out, take your bladder out, take your bladder out. That's what it's going to be. I'm not taking my bladder out. I'm just not. So I'm going to deal with it. Okay. Damn it. I don't know how to post this right now, so I better read and get on with it. Otherwise, I'll just mumble and do shit. So if I do a short, no videos, no live, post, I don't know what to do. Okay, so I can do it on the Facebook Convict page right now. And let me get moving on. It should be pretty simple, right? There's nothing. I can get it. I can get like you guys might see me have like an anxiety attack over technology right here, right here live. Have an anxiety. Yeah. So okay, I'm doing on my Convict Inc. Facebook page. Picture of my new puppy. I do voice quotations are easier. Okay, boom. Abby. I figured out her name in like seconds. I don't know why. And next. You can see it, whatever. Okay. Can I make it? Yeah. She's on my, if you guys want to see what the dog looks like, it's on Convict Inc. Facebook. Okay. Okay. Ron. Another says burn your name, Convict Inc. /strength on your videos. Yeah, you said that. I know how to do it. So on here, if I just switch the banner, you know what? I actually ran across how to do that on here on the videos. It's easy. You're right. I do. Well, Convict Inc. comes across. No, it doesn't. I'm looking at the TV right now. What do you have? Hold on. Kim's tripping. I have a massive black German Shepherd. Nice. I need a yard dog for sure. Again, I didn't catch the one last night. Been a busy weekend so far. Joey Bell. Okay. That's what happened. So, I mean, who knows? Again, I have to go back to court. I got the dog because I felt the timing was right. Okay. And yeah, it came after I found out about the cancer one. Yes, it did. But Zip, where's Johnny Mac? Talked to him last night, actually, by the way. Damn, sorry to hear that, brother. Best wishes. I know you don't want to take it out, but it's not worth your life. You have too much to live for. I get it. Having a bag. It's not a bag. I don't even have to have a bag, Joey. I don't have to have a bag. Even the guy that Victor Bucci I just talked about, who taught me the corporation stuff, he had they can put it in your stomach like a pouch in your. There's what I just talked to the urologist too. So there's one that treated me in Butner. There's like 3 different ways, 4 different ways. So the old bags that you see, that can still happen, but they've advanced since then. The problem is impotency. It's like greater than not that I'm hit, and I just your show last night sounded like sad country. Travis, yeah, for sure, right? Well, I can't deny that. Okay, so now, and my tongue's hurting worse, but anyway, screw this. So the title of this, but I don't mind answering the questions, just freestyling. Undocumented citizens in federal prisons speak about their experience. Let's see how this goes. This is actually long. I don't want people to sleep. Maybe this would have been better in video for real. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Doug Ross. Nice, Doug, for the puppy chow. Joey, it's not about that. There's a nerve. Okay, so put it up there. Joey's talking about if I'm impotent, if I have my bladder taken out. It's not about that. There's a nerve. And Doug, thank you, bro. Actually, it's $15. You're 5 short. And don't put 5 more up. I'm just saying. Oh, he's saying the same thing. Kim, it's not about, it's a nerve. There's a nerve. Okay. There's a nerve in your head. Done. So, okay, I'm gonna move on. I'll go back and answer them. So Kim's tripping. I'll leave it on the screen and I'll go back and answer anything. Might take a minute. That's actually long. Let's see how I read tonight. All right. So again, I wrote this. Where's the date? It was put on I know about 4 different blogs or websites, including Convict Inc., Convict International, WordPress, which my wife put up. I think she put this up, as a matter of June 9th, 2011. Yeah, Marta did all this too, I believe. Okay. So illegal immigrants in federal prison go on the record. Posted June 9th, 2011 by Robert Rosso. Raul Lainez, say it right? My border brother, who lives by the border. Raul Lainez sits on his bunk in cell 204 listening to a local Spanish radio station as he reads the Bible. Besides him is a hot cup of cappuccino, a half-eaten nutty bar, and a children's jewelry box that he made out of empty potato chip bags and string. Plastic trash bags cleverly transformed into sturdy thread. Lainez, I said to him, how old are you? Me 30. I'm going to end up doing a little Spanish accent. Okay. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Me 34 years, he said in Spanglish. Born in Honduras, Raul is currently serving 71 months. This is 2011. Currently serving 71 months in federal prison for entering into the United States illegally more than once, a crime known as illegal reentry. Lainez, I said to him again, how many times have you crossed the border illegally? I should have said cross the border, right? More than happy to talk, Raul puts down his Bible, takes off his headphone, and picks up his drink. Me deported 5 times, he said, but me go to Mexico and Honduras and come back to the United States more times. After a little discussion, I learned that Lioness, whatever, first came to the United States in 1996 and was deported 1 year later. In 2001, he returned to the US only to be redeported in 2003. But my boss right there in El Paso, Texas, hey, shout out El Paso. He loved me so much, said Raul. And one day he said to me, hey, man, you must come back over here right now. Let me tell you something. This is how this guy talked. Uh, he then he then sent me $1,000 of money and me come back. Less than 2 months after being deported back to Honduras, Raul was back in the States, only to repeat the cycle 2 more times. In 2004, he was deported. In 2005, he returned. In 2006, he was deported. In 2007, he returned. However, when he returned in '07, he brought with him 2 small children. Was it hard sneaking into this country with 2 kids? I asked. No problem, he said. Me paid $2,000. Well, tell me about it. Tell me about it, said. How did you get them in? My son, he walked across the border, no problem. My daughter, she drive across the border in a car like an American citizen. She passed for American. Okay. I then asked him when his wife came to the United States. My ex-wife, she come with me in 2002, said Raul. How did she get into the country? Listen to this one. We drive across El Paso border with my girlfriend. Because I've crossed the US-Mexican border many times, Tijuana side, I asked him what they said to immigration officials when they were stopped and questioned at the border's checkpoint. We tell the border peoples we citizens, he said. We no say American citizen or Honduras citizen, only citizen. That way, he explained, if they were caught trying to enter the country illegally, they couldn't be charged with the crime. Technically, they weren't lying. That's what he said. I don't know. And what did the Border Patrol say? Did they ask for identification or papers or anything like that? Nada. He said nothing. They smiled and said, Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Shocked, I then asked him how he normally entered the country. Me walk across the El Paso border. How long did it take normally? How long did it normally take you to get safely into the country? With a serious expression on his face, he said 10, 15 minutes. One time, maybe 30. On October the 14th, 2007, Royal Lanus was driving his truck in El Paso, Texas, when a police car pulled up behind him. Noticing that the tags on the license plate were expired, let me stop. Why did people that do illegal shit or illegal people in the country or drug dealers always drive with messed up vehicles they get pulled over with? Just a question. The officers pulled him over and asked to see his driver's license and registration. But me no got nothing, Raul explained. So me go to jail. Raul Lanus has been incarcerated ever since. Like the healthcare debate that divided our country in 2009, there lies ahead another divisive issue that lawmakers continue to ignore: illegal immigration. Jesus Christ. Anyway, now it's even worse. On the left, you have people talking about open borders, civil rights violations, and pathways to citizenship. While on the right, you have people talking about sealing the border, how non-citizens should have no rights whatsoever, and how lawmakers should either create new legislation or the authorities should enforce pre-existing laws that punish illegal aliens before we send them home. To be clear, well, this is where I get into my conservative rant. I'm unabashedly conservative. I believe that our borders need to be sealed. However, unlike so many conservatives in the Tea Party who talk about common sense solution in our Constitution, I am one sitting in federal prison, and I can assure you that most conservatives tend to be conservatives of convenience. They preach about our founding fathers' intent, but have no problem supporting legislation that tramples on the basic constitutional principles of criminal defense, such as using prior convictions to enhance a person's sentence. A clear double jeopardy violation, if you ask me. Civilly committing sex offenders beyond their release dates, multiple due process violation. By the way, I don't want to get into that discussion. That was just a comment. And giving nonviolent drug offenders life without parole. It's called cruel and unusual punishment. Having said that, I have no political motive in writing this. I'm writing this because more than 40,000 inmates serving time in federal prison are here for illegal reentry, and some are willing to be heard. I am writing this because taxpayers are spending more than $40,000 a year per healthy illegal immigrant to house, clothe, and feed, and often double for the ones who are sick. I'm writing this with the hope that lawmakers and the public will become better informed about the lives of illegal immigrants behind bars. Perhaps when you get done reading this, you too will scratch your head and wonder, what the hell are we doing? And now back to roll. Okay, I said to Linus, tell me about your children. How old are they? My son is 14 years, he said. My big daughter, she's 10 years. And my little daughter, she called Nara. Naare. I should ask my friend that too. Nara. I'll just say Nara. She's 4 years. He then adds proudly, she is an American. Do you have any contact with her? CC, he said in Spanish. I called him on the phone. But my little daughter, she don't love me no more. I remember this like it was yesterday. She say to me, I got a new big daddy. He's so good. He takes me to the park. buys me toys. Raul shakes her head. It's no good, man, no good. In fact, Nora turns 5 years old on June 4th, and he is doing everything in his power to scrape up enough money to buy her a present. For her happy birthday, Raul explains, Nora wants a princess castle. So me got to work real hard. When he says work, he actually means hustle. Raul sells anything and everything: new and used shoes, clothes, radios, watches, headphones, candy, soda, bed sheets, pillowcases, homemade jewelry, whatever he can get his hands on. In fact, the children's jewelry box that he made out of potato chips bag will bring him $30 or $5 of stamps. In prison, we use stamps as currency. However, the value of the first class stamp, okay, but we stamp skirts, forget all about that. Once Raul comes up with enough stamps to buy his daughter the gift, he hopes to sell the stamps to someone in here who will then have one of their family or friends on the street send the money to his ex-wife in El Paso. She can then buy their daughter the princess castle that she so badly desires. I don't know if me sell nothing today, Raul said, holding the jewelry box in his hand. Well, me gotta try. And on that note, Raul picks up a laundry bag full of items, puts the rest of the nutty bars in his mouth, and heads out the door. Like one of the thousands of Hispanics living in the Mexican side of the border who walks through the streets selling chiclets, churros, sandals, sweaters, hats, and statues. Raul will walk around the prison for the rest of the day peddling his items as well. Next, Next, I spoke with Santana Guerrero. No, God damn, I'm butchering this. Santana Guerrero Noberto. Santana, okay, Santana, that's what I knew him by. A 43-year-old Dominican also serving time for illegal reentry. After coming to the United States legally in 1981, Santana received a green card in 1986, only to have it taken away in 1995 following a conviction for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a charge that landed him in the Massachusetts mass correctional system for 10 years. Deported back to the Dominican Republic after serving his time, in 2006, Santana made a decision to return to the state. I got 3 children, he said. What was I supposed to do? For $10,000, he was brought into the United States illegally, where he lasted 10 full days. I was picked up in San Antonio, he said. At sentencing, the judge took into consideration his entire criminal history, which included arrest for simple possession of marijuana, possession of a knife, and, as I've already mentioned, the conviction, which he served 10 years for. I tell the judge, you no let me stay in the United States. Why you no send me back? You want to pay for my food? You want to pay for my house? You want to pay for my clothes? You want to pay too much? I tell him, I pay for me, go back to my country. I know I made a mistake. I pay money. I only come for the kids. But the judge, he no listen, said Santana. He gave me 8 years. I asked Santana what he thinks of American prison. American prison is sweet, he said, for real. A lot of illegal peoples, they think it's American. They think it's nice in American prison, because in some countries you have to work for food if you want to eat. But in here, you have to do nothing. We got a free TV, free water, free job in the prison factory. If you want to make good money for sending home to the family, we got everything, he continued. Some Spanish peoples, they don't have no house. Some Spanish peoples, they don't got nothing. They want to leave this place and go back. I asked what he thought of the healthcare system in prison. I'm laughing at the way I'm talking. Sorry. I remember these guys like yesterday. Santana smiled. If people see a picture of me, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I got no problems. I make $200 a month doing laundry and stuff. I'm healthy, I'm good. The healthcare in federal prison, it's good, much better than on the street. Staying on the subject of prison healthcare, I walked over to a group of Hispanics sitting in front of the Spanish television and asked them if they wanted to go on the record about the healthcare in federal prison. While every one of them is fully aware that I'm writing this, and all are very supportive, and they were. People were like supporters of me being like the roaming journalist in prison. No bullshit. That's because of this prison. It was a medium, not a Mac. There was a brief discussion in Spanish about the repercussions. As one guy put it, maybe the medical department try and do something to one who talks about it or something like this. I had to admit they had a valid point. Okay, let's do this. Let me just ask you guys in general what you think about the healthcare system in here, and I won't put any names unless you want me to. One guy translated what I said to the rest of them, and the rest agreed. Me like it, said one guy. When I go to the doctor, he give me everything I need, no problem. Another said, I get the pills for feel good, and it's good. Me got a lot of pain, and me feel no pain now. It's good. I get the shoes and the pills for make money, said another. I get for free and sell everything. But one illegal immigrant had a different view. The black doctor, he don't like Hispanic people. He only gives black peoples what they want. My response to him was, compared to the doctors on the street, is the doctor you've seen here better or worse? After some thought, he said, I think he's more better than the doctors in my country see. Sitting quietly off to the side, one guy stood up from his chair and asked me if he can speak with me in private. Yeah, I said, for sure, follow me. After we walked into his cell, he informed me that he heard everything that I was said and he wanted to add a few words of his own. Of course, I told him that he could. The medical treatment here is good for me, he said. They gave me the pills what I need for for help me. I asked what kind of pills he was taking. The pills what I need to save my life, he said. The pills what I come back to this country for. I don't understand, I said, a bit confused. You came back to the United States illegally for pills? Is that what you're telling me? He shook his head. See, I come back to this country because I want to live, he said. I bring with me my wife so she can live too. He paused and then said, Amigo, me and my wife have HIV. Let me tell you guys something real quick. That was a moment. No bullshit. That was a moment. Okay. This was serious shit. This happened. I mean, just like everything said, I mean, just this is like anyway. Nelson David Amparo entered the United States illegally in 1986 at the age of 10. Raised in Southern California, Nelson joined a gang and by his own admission did some bad things. In 1993, he was convicted of burglary and spent 3 years in the California Department of Corrections. Prior to release and subsequent deportation, Nelson had a complete physical, which included blood work that ultimately revealed he was HIV positive. How'd you get infected? I asked. From sex with the girl I didn't know she had AIDS. From sex with the girl I didn't know she had AIDS. Anyway, deported back to his home country of Honduras in 1996, he returned to the United States illegally a few months later, only to be arrested on felony assault charges. After serving an additional 2 years in the CDC, he was once again deported to Honduras, where he intended to stay with his wife and children. When I went to the doctor in my country, he told me they have no medication in Honduras for the HIV, said Nelson. He told me if I don't get the medication, I don't live. And it wasn't only Nelson who needed the medication. When he returned home, he learned that he had infected his wife as well. All right. Sorry. Are you kidding me right now? Hold on, I get the pages mixed up. This is typical Rosso fashion, right? I just do this. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Oh my, I got this all. Kidding. Okay. Okay, let me get this straight. I said, when you were serving time in the CDC, did they give you medication for HIV? Yes. Was your wife taking medication for HIV? No, he said. When I come home in 1999, she was very sick. She needed medication. Whose decision was it to return to the United States for medication? The doctor in Honduras, he tell me, Nelson said, he tell me if I don't go, I die. I don't want to die. I don't want my wife to die, so we come. Back in the United States, did I miss a page? I feel like I almost did. Ain't this up? Anyway, I'm gonna keep on. Man, it sucked. I now just learned something. Okay. Uh, Back in the United States, Nelson and his wife moved to Asheville, North Carolina, where they immediately sought medical care for their chronic illness. We get the pills we need, and as soon as we come here, he said everything got better. In fact, the couple ended up having 2 children, none of which has HIV. For nearly 10 years, Nelson and his wife lived relatively happy and healthy lives in the United States. He worked construction, she was a homemaker, and neither were involved in any type of criminal activity. Then on December 19th, 2009, Nelson and another man were stopped by law enforcement and cocaine was discovered in the car. Although the charges against Nelson were eventually dropped, the feds picked up his case and charged him with illegal reentry. According to Nelson, when I got arrested, my wife and my family have passports to go back to Honduras. We leave this country because in 2008, Honduras have now the medication we need. We want to go back to our country and be with our families. At a sentencing hearing, Nelson's attorney produced passports and other documentation showing that the couple was in the process of relocating to their native country when his client was arrested. When I asked how and why 2 people living in the country legally would obtain passports, he explained to me that they wanted to enter Honduras legally through the airport and because they were bringing their children who are U.S. citizens. My wife should get the passports at the Honduras embassy, he said. We want to go back legally. And all of this was explained to the judge I wanted to clarify? Yes, he said. And I have all the papers right there myself for you to see. As a matter of fact, he does. Nelson, his wife, and children were only days away from moving to Honduras prior to his arrest, and this was all proven in court. Nevertheless, the judge ignored the defense request to allow Nelson David Aparo to return to Honduras at his own expense and instead sentenced him to 70 months in federal prison where he receives adequate and very expensive medical care. Even more costly to American taxpayers is the Federal Bureau of Prisons incompetent educational policy for illegal immigrants. Per BOP policy, all inmates are required to have a GED or high school diploma. If prison officials cannot verify that an inmate has one or the other, they must attend school or face disciplinary action. In regards to the Hispanic prisoners who are in this country legally, prior to taking their GED, they must first enroll in an English and secondary language course. Once they learn how to read and write, I read this now. I don't know if okay, good. Once they learn how to read and write English, they must take the GED test, which can either be taken in Spanish or English. One of several problems is that most illegal aliens in prison don't want to enroll in school. They feel like it's a complete waste of time because they're only going to be deported back to non-English speaking countries. However, when they do refuse, as many of them do, they are punished with disciplinary actions that include 12 days loss of good time per year, meaning they will have to stay in prison for an extended period of time, which becomes an even greater financial burden to American taxpayers. On the other hand, those who do want to learn face serious challenges as well. To begin with, in most institutions, inmate tutors are the only ones teaching ESL, English Secondary Language, without staff supervision. Furthermore, in many cases, the education department supervisors and/or teachers don't speak Spanish, nor do they check and see if their tutors have GEDs or high school diplomas. If you guys caught that, I don't know. For instance, Robert Gomez Sanchez, a Mexican-American serving time for possession of firearms and ammunition by convicted felon, sought employment in the education department of FCI Cumberland, Maryland. He was immediately hired as a tutor. After working without supervision for nearly 2 months, Robert learned that he wasn't being paid, which was not only a violation of BOP policy, but U.S. labor laws. The labor laws is kind of stretching it, whatever. I found out that they weren't paying me because they never checked to see if I had a GED, Robert Sanchez said to me. To prove that he was telling me the truth, that is, that he wasn't being paid and that the education department was so incompetent that they were hiring tutors without verifying to see if they even had high school diplomas or GED, Robert supplied the following letter, which he sent to the Arizona Department of Education. Dear Administrator, I'm currently incarcerated at Cumberland, Maryland. I'm working in the education department as an ESL Spanish GED tutor. I've been working in this position for approximately 1.5 months. I have not been paid for this work. I was informed just today that I have not been paid due to no GED verification. I am under indigent status with no other source of income. My work pay is very important to me. I am requesting that you please send me a GED verification so that I may get paid for the work that I've already completed. I received my GED under this information. And then he put his name and such. Let me get some. I just caught some myself. Thank you in advance. Okay. As soon as his boss, Miss Miller, became aware of the letter, she faxed a request to the Arizona Department of Education, received confirmation of Robert's diploma. Needless to say, he was awarded a bonus and began receiving his pay. At Butner FCI2, Robert Sanchez was immediately hired on as an ESL tutor and noticed similar problems in the institution. None of the tutors are required to go through any formal training, he said. They don't test us to see if we know how to read, write, do math, or even speak English. Nor does it appear that any of the teachers here speak a lick of Spanish, including education specialist Hose. I don't even know. I forgot who she was. Who oversees all the Hispanic inmates. Oh, Mr. Hose. Mr. Hose no speaks Spanish, complained one inmate, but he's in charge of teaching Spanish peoples. He no help us. He help only himself make money. Robert Sanchez concurs. I quit the education department at Butner FCI2 because these people are only interested in enrollment for their program reviews. All they care about is their paperwork, having documentation showing that a certain amount of inmates are enrolled in classes so that they can get funding for the education department, which keeps them employed. He further added, when I worked there, I was not only tutoring inmates one-on-one, but I was translating everything that Mr. Hose was telling them because he didn't speak not one word of Spanish. I also graded all their paperwork, took care of student individual files, and one day a teacher named Miss Eckers, who doesn't even work in that class, tried to get me to police the inmates for hanging out in the hallway because she couldn't speak any Spanish, and our teacher wasn't at work that day. I was in charge of controlling the classroom all on my own, and on many occasions. Michael Velasquez, who is from Puerto Rico, also wanted to share something about his experience as a Spanish inmate enrolled in Butner educational program. I finished the ESL class more than a year ago. I try to take it for the GED, but they don't let me every time. After learning a bit more about Velasquez's complaint, I found out that he has, in fact, been eligible to take his GED test for more than a year, and for some reason or another, he keeps being denied. Something the Hispanics here claim does not happen to Black and white inmates. Worse, his unit team, those who are in charge of inmates' caseloads, promised him that once he passed his GED, they will place a request asking that he be transferred to a prison in Puerto Rico so that he can be closer to his mother, a lady who happens to be dying of cancer. The education department here is, in effect, keeping him from seeing his mother ever again. And there's not a damn thing he can do about it. But not every Spanish inmate here has negative things to say about the education department in Button. I took advantage of every class this place has to offer and all the free college courses as well, proudly stated Gerardo Castro. Let's go there. After all the money the American people spend on me, it would probably be cheaper to give me a green card. He smiled, but we both know that'll never happen. Guardo Castro, known in prison. Oh, Zacatecas. I was trying to think. Yeah, I kind of know. Zacatecas or Castro is a Mexican citizen who first came into this country illegally in 1991. No stranger to criminal activity, Castro has multiple felony convictions. Well, this was all for drugs and guns. In 2004, as he was being deported for the second time, he and other deportees whom he was returning to Mexico with were all informed that if they returned to the United States illegally again, they would receive between 2 to 20 years in federal prisons. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Prior to 2004, Castro explained, it was no problem being caught illegally in this country. A lot of times, illegal immigrants would be released from prison and they would no send us back. We can just go straight here in the United States like nothing. He blamed the George W. Bush and post 9/11 administration for doing this drastic change. In 1992, we have a treaty of free commerce between US, Canada, and Mexico, Castro said. All we need is a passport to get it stamped, and we can travel between three countries and do work, whatever. But then came 9/11. According to Castro, when President Vicente Fox of Mexico refused to send Mexican troops into Afghanistan and Iraq, George Bush was pissed off and canceled every effort for immigration reform. But still, he used immigration reform to get reelected, but he didn't do shit, Castro said. While we're on the subject, what do you think about the Obama in regards to immigration reform? He's a true politician, said Castro. He told all the Mexican people, vote for me, but he's letting judges give us more time for legal entry than George Bush did. Since Obama came into office, Castro claims, illegal aliens are receiving federal prison sentences that average about 1.5 years longer for illegal reentry than during the previous administration. Really, the best president for the Mexican people is Ronald Reagan, Castro said. He opened a law called Simmons-Rodino, I think it was, and guys who came into this country from Mexico to work in the fields were given legal citizenship, no problem. But that law changed in 1988. Currently, Castro is serving time once again for drugs and guns, as well as 5 years for legal reentry. I asked him, what college courses did you take? Automotive repair, electronics certification, powertrain, undercar, is that right? Engine performance, small and major engine repair, keyboarding, and introduction to computers, he said. All paid for by American taxpayers through the Durham Community College. Let me stop right there. Butner had good educational programs, by the way. They did. Working in the factory, said, I need to make some money, so I went to Unicor. Unicor, which is a sister corporation of the Federal Prison Industries, is a privately held corporation that, in my opinion, exploits cheap prison labor. In Butner, inmates working in Unicor are currently making shirts for the United States Armed Services, inmates including illegal aliens. Note, the U.S. Supreme Court recently upheld an Arizona law which states that it's illegal to knowingly and intentionally hire illegal aliens. And yes, there are federal prisons in Arizona that have illegal aliens working in Unicor as well. To Castro, I said, a friend of mine on Facebook named Lisa Rogers had a question she wanted me to ask you. Again, I was getting 60 to 100 messages at a time from people on Facebook, like almost every day, no bullshit. Her question was, if released today and sent back to Mexico, would your only goal be to return back to the U.S., no matter the consequences? If so, is it because the conditions in Mexico are so deplorable are simply for monetary gain. Are the prison conditions better in the US than what you have at home? Mexico has everything the United States does, but it's less quantity and you make less money, Castro said. But it's a good country. When some people get out, they leave family and kids behind. So, of course, they want to come back. But I have seen 3 guys since I've been here who come back to prison in less than a year from their release on purpose. When I asked why they did it, they said it was more better in here than over there. So it's true. Some people like it better here in prison because it's more easy. Those same sneak across the border and go straight to a mission for free stuff because they are lazy. Personally, I'm not a lazy person and I'm not afraid to work to earn my own money. I asked him if he would come back. Not illegally, was his response. He also pointed that he has kids who live in Mexico. Does the narco violence in Mexico, wow, where did I go with this? Does the narco violence in Mexico concern you? I mean, are you afraid to go back because of it? I asked him this question because I know where he's going, to Zacatecas, basically the heart of the drug violence. Me, concerned, he laughed. Not at all, man, not at all. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to. With narco trafficking still fresh in my mind, I recalled the conversation that I had several years ago with an illegal alien whom I met shortly after I arrived in the Butner prison complex. As we were sitting in the hospital waiting to see the urologist, we learned that we had a mutual friend in common, a guy who was serving time in another institution for a nonviolent drug offense. After one conversation led to another, I eventually asked him what he intended to do once he was deported. Me and a guy I met right here he named the prison that he was previously in, are getting together, he said. We plan to do business. The business he was referring to involved the importation of distribution of cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. How's my computer doing? Heroin with the guy he met in prison, a guy, he said, who also happens to belong to the Soldiers of Aryan Culture, one of the fastest growing white prison gangs in the country. That a Mexican citizen who's serving time for illegal entry would team up with a member of a white prison gang for the purpose of distributing illegal narcotics should come as no surprise. It's all about money, not race. What's most important to note, however, is that this happens all the time. Not that illegal aliens in federal prison are necessarily teaming up with gang members. Rather, they're teaming up with American prisons with the intent to import and distribute large quantities of drugs in the United States. And when you expose the truth for what it is, the blame lies on our government and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. They are responsible for arranging these marriages. It is they who created the laws that put illegal immigrants into our prison system. It is they who created the laws that put nonviolent drug offenders in prisons for unreasonable periods of time without any real focus on rehabilitation. And it is they who have created a dysfunctional prison system that is flooded with drugs and alcohol and infested with gang activity and is a place where young inner city kids aspire to come in order to build their street credibility. Tell me, what better place is there for illegal aliens and American criminals to come together and form drug conspiracies other than the BOP? The architects of this disasters are complete morons. Meanwhile, back in Butner FCI 2, as I was sitting in front of my cell talking to a few Hispanic inmates about illegal immigration, one of the friendly neighborhood illegal aliens who works in the kitchen approached me. My friend, he said, I got fried chicken for you, 3 stampas. I asked him how many pieces he had. I checked for you. He then reached down the front of his pants and pulled out a bread bag filled with chicken. As he held it up, he said, maybe 20, 30 pieces. How much for the whole bag? I said, for you, cheap, he said. I give it to you for 30 stampas. 30 stamps, $9 to be exact. Not bad for around 2 dozen pieces of taxpayer-funded fried chicken. I'll take it, I said. Knowing that my food hustling friend had served time in the CDC twice, I asked him which prison system he thought was better, California or the BOP, state prison or the BOP. Me like both better, he said. There's not too much different, but me like Butner too. While there are drastic differences between the two prison systems, after talking to him for a bit longer, I realized he was referring to making money. In other words, he had no problem hustling in both systems. Therefore, making money is what I was trying to say. In other words, he had no problem hustling in both systems. Therefore, he was happy to be in both prisons. And I wasn't surprised that he said that he liked it here. You see, just a couple days ago, I heard he won 200 books of stamps at the poker table. And from what I understand, the local bookie bought all the stamps from him and sent the money to his family on the south side of the border. Come with me for my cell, he said, after handing me the chicken. I got something more better for you. Following him back to his cell, when he opened the door, I saw 2 more illegal immigrants, both of whom were in the process of making homemade tamales. Tamales, I said, how much? No, not for sale, my Mexican friend said apologetically. I know can give you tamales or burrito. He then explained that they were making 200 tamales and an equal amount of burritos for a birthday party that they were having for one of their friends. And that wasn't all they had. On the bottom bunk, there was homemade peanut brittle and fudge, about a dozen or so bags of chips and cookies, and a few cases of soda. Oh, and I was about to find out they had something else. You like the drink? My friend asked. From the top of his locker, he grabbed a honey bear jar filled with clear liquid and held it up. I have for sale for you. It was a half pint of moonshine. No thanks, I said, shaking my head. I don't drink anymore. Those were the days, huh? Wow. What happened to that guy? Right then, a guy walked in, said something in Spanish, and everyone in the room suddenly started grabbing stuff. It's time to go for the party now, he said. Once again, he asked me if I wanted to buy some alcohol. No, thanks. You guys take it to the party and enjoy it. Out the door he went. Later that night, after lockdown, I looked across the room and saw my cellie, Raul Lainez, by the way, was my cellie, laying on his bunk, staring blankly into space. Lainez, are you okay? I said. Raul shook his head. No good, man, no good. My little daughter, she got nothing for me for her happy birthday. He went on to tell me that he talked to her on the phone and she was very sad. The princess castle that she wanted for her 5th birthday never came because Raul couldn't raise enough money in time to buy her one. She'll be all right, I said to him. She'll forget about it soon. Clearly, the guy was really hurt. I didn't know what else to say. It's all part of the show, man, he said. It's part of the show. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. What do you mean it's part of the show? Life is one big show, he said. And being in prison is just another part of the show. Me no get my daughter nothing for her happy birthday. It's part of the show too, he said. Somewhere in that head of his, it all made sense. So rather than laugh, I just agreed. Then, after a few moments of us laying in total silence, I said, Lanus, what are you going to do when you get out of prison? He turns towards me. My family's right there in El Paso, Texas. So, what are you saying? Are you coming back? I asked. See, he said, smiling. Me like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. Anyway, that was from a Robert Ross who I no longer know. Years ago, he used to write constantly. Anyway, there it is there. So it's burned up alive for the night. Let me go read some comments. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Let me go back to where Kim's tripping. The Canadian border requires passport. The Canadian border requires a passport or entry is denied. Hey, Kim, you're absolutely right. And felons too. By the way, I have a friend who got out of prison. He was out 3 weeks, 2 felonies, and was able to fly into Canada for 2 weeks. So there's different requirements. Also, new friend, convicted felon, not supposed to have a firearm for 17 years. I was told, and I believe him. I think 17. He would take hunting trips to Canada with firearms. He had a state conviction, and like after, maybe it was 7 or 17 years, he was finally stopped, and they told him when they found his guns not to come back. Yeah, and Kim's tripping. Kim, I'll show you how easy it is to walk across. There's nothing stopped anybody. Okay, Kim's tripping. Come west, Kim. I'll show you how easy it is just to walk across. There's nothing across. Yeah. Kim in the prairies, and it's wide open, barbed wire on fences, a dead space, no man's land, 100 yards wide, no barbed wire fence. So, if Kim's still around, uh, let me say that. What is it? What's North Dakota? One of those places up there's like no border, or there's a road that I know somebody lived by there, and there's like there's no guards, border guard. They just drive back and forth into Canada. Now it's been a while. Your Paisan is clear. The Paisan accent is hysterical. Your Paisan is clear. Zip. The point was just it was an article that I wrote while in prison that was posted, and the guy got money. It was just about illegal aliens on the record. That was the point for real. And again, I used to just find topics that I thought maybe time together with current events or something. That one got a lot of traction. It actually did. I know. Because I was a prisoner writing shit, right? That's basically what it came down to. I celled with the Cuban who at the time I met him was down 20 years on a 10-year sentence. Put that back up. With no new charges. I didn't even know they can do that at all. I celled with the Cuban who, oh, okay, I'm keep on going out. Come on, what's going on? Son of a bitch. It's easier for me to read up there, actually. I celled with the Cuban who at the time I met him was down 20 years on a 10-year sentence with no new charge. Okay, Tammy Kennedy, who is going to drive me fucking insane because I don't know this person. I know him, but I don't. I don't know. That was under so they can't send Cubans who commit crimes back across the border or back to Cuba. Okay. So what they were doing for years is they would just keep them in prison. They were just stuck there. That's what all the Cuban riots were about in Atlanta, different places. Most of that was insane. Uh, that was terrible, you know. And I'm not going to get into the civil commitment law right now. I don't want to hear it. One thing is this country's great at it's wasting taxpayers' money. Yeah, I'm happy to be an American. All right, Zip. But I'm not getting this. That's it. There wasn't. It was just illegal aliens in prison spouting out their views. The point. So I made a couple points at the time in 2011 about wasting money. But I mean, I get why you're like, what the fuck is this, right? I think the appeal, the article went so far at the time because I was a lifer that was writing and putting it out there. It was like not a bunch of people did that, not like unique and the only one. But um, I made a lot of traction internationally because I met Bernie Madoff and wrote about Bernie Madoff, which there'll be videos about. Tammy, what's up? Zip's still confused. Is he tweaking? I probably couldn't. Well, maybe I could read it if I was, but yeah, he's high as a kite. Oh, okay, you're gonna do that. Foosball. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm good. Later, later, Zip. Is this story about illegal immigration and how it affects the country and a prison system? Oh, Travis explaining. It's a story about illegal. I mean, you said it better than me, but it's okay. Later, Zip. Hope you're good. Paul, Rob, good to see you. You too, bro. Are there any new bedtime stories for your future crazy Sally? Fuck yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them. I got a bunch of them for sure. You know, that's one thing. Every time I get out, go back, I got a bunch of stories, right? I told him to call at noon. I told him that I was going to sleep till late noon, but actually I'm going to get up early and probably go. I'm actually probably might. We'll see. I don't want to say it. I don't because people are listening. Somebody's going to listen. I don't want. I want it to be a surprise. Rob talks to aliens. Goddamn right I do. Sorry. Thanks, Kim. Rob talks to aliens. Vote Trump, man. Yeah, I mean, better than Biden. Ah, man. So I loved Trump. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't want to get into politics right now. I will say that it was very entertaining. He had some really good policies. He's like me too. Like I say too much, get myself in more trouble. Just ask my lawyer. He tells me to shut up in court all the time. Or ask the people at AA and NA to tell me to shut up. Anyway, um, yeah, let's not do the political Trump thing right now. Way better than Biden. There's nobody else. Nikki Haley, blah blah blah. I mean, I used to think she was good. Again, not right now. Not the time. Okay, so Rob, my dude, what's up? What's up, Jason? All right, bro. I've been on an hour and 20 minutes. Um, yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you guys the truth, right? I'm fucking nicking. I can't believe I shouldn't say I can't believe. I am back up 2005, back up, and I'm like a hick with dips. And you know what? I screwed up big time when I bought. I have to do pouches. I screwed up big time when I bought Copenhagen. I was on the cheap stuff, and it's crazy because I don't have no freaking money. Who bought me? Somebody bought me that actually, and that is man. It's a little pinch between your teeth and gums. You know what? Real quick, it's way off. The first, excuse me, in school, I guess I had, looking back, probably ADHD, whatever. Okay, I bounced all over the place like I do now. Um, I had a teacher in the 5th grade named Miss Sherbaugh. who became Miss Perkins. She married Mr. Perkins. I can remember all my teachers going back to the first grade. Well, let me see something. Let me see something. Edwin Menez. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm back at you. Ron, I'll get to you. Ron, probably never. Edwin, thank you. No, seriously. I mean, that's like I say, even a dollar, 10 is like a thousand right now. Can you vote? If not, I think you have to get your record expunged. I think in some states you can. You know what? You'd asked me that 3, 4 years ago. I think some changes have been made. Excuse me, I should be doing this here. No, not federal votes. I don't register to vote. No, I don't. I don't. Ironically, you can run for office in some places. You can. And that's true. So anyway, let me go back to 5th grade because this is about tobacco. You know, I wasn't a class clown. God, yes, yeah. When I first turned, I got spit too much. This will be the last time. When I was in the 5th grade, I was not a class clown. I was in the in crowd, so to speak. I was a jokester, not like I said, not the outgoing class clown. But I was afraid to speak in front of people. Not afraid, the nervous stuff. Miss Sherba, I had a crush on for sure, and she lived around the corner from me and gave me a rabbit, bit the hell out of me. But she had us do like commercials, like for TV. Doug Ross, thank you, I appreciate it. Wait, Doug, are you the one that sent me the 10 earlier and I said 15 for the dog food? I was super strict. No, I didn't realize they jail people that long for crossing legally. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yes, absolutely. I hope I'm answering. So let me finish it. So she had us do like if we're doing commercials, we had to like come up with the product and all that stuff. Do you know some? I guess probably because I used to come back here every summer. My dad gave me not Copenhagen. He gave me chew when I was like in the 7th, 8th grade. Bought me. We come back with chew and chew when we were kids, all that shit. Well, Hawkins was the brand my dad used to buy. He used to buy me. I don't know what it was, and this is insane. I came up with the idea for a tobacco product and I called it Polywog chewing tobacco. And it was just, let me tell you something. I remember my sister, Debbie, who's the youngest one, the one older than me, like she helped me with, and she was fucking amazed. And when we had to do that presentation, who wants to go first? Boom. I raised my hand. I did it. And I went up there and I did it with a Southern accent. My friends, I'm here to tell you today about Polywog chewing tobacco. I did it and like she freaked the fuck out. And the fucking class got up laughing. It was insane. One and only time. That was a one-off. That was a one-off. Maybe that was when I was like on Ritalin for a week or two before my mom got me cut off because it was for Bobby Bighead kids. That's true. Yeah, I aced that. Like she had tears in her eyes. Miss Sherba had tears in her eyes, and I had tears in her eyes when she went to Christmas break and came back. Miss Perkins. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, all right. So, okay. Thanks again, Doug. Travis. Felons are only a group of people who can legally discriminate against. Hey, I mean, it's a mechanism of. I'm not gonna get there in slavery and stuff. I don't want to do that. I can get deep on it though, bro. 32 in here and only 12 likes. Smash that button before I do it here. Hey, you know what? It's cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, I'll tell you something about chat and everything. So video views, lives, way down. And the reason, a lot of it, well, first of all, I'm just going to keep trucking moving forward. Once upon a time, when I was making like 1,500 a month or off YouTube, got bumped up to a couple grand. I can see like it could be like cover the bills. Bills are like cheap runner. I think I needed like 1,500 or something. But once upon a time, I like aimed for that. All that shit talking I used to do got me more money for sure. But my subs became so out of whack with the mob stuff, so I lost so many. And I'm not, listen, anybody that's joined me or followed me or just pops up for the mob stuff, I'm not putting people down. I'm saying I'm 91% New York, okay? I think it's 91%, which is for the mob stuff. So That doesn't, there was a time again. So I went to 10,000 like quick, when I first started this channel. But I'm so inconsistent in such a flight because of my personal problems, addiction, whatever. I can sit here and tell you, I can give you no, it doesn't matter. My actions have shown. So I get it. I'm not, um, so yeah, my subs are so far. Like if I put up on Friday, Benny Giarratano's coming on. She's I probably get like blowed up. The Hell's Angels thing that I had was supposed to be last night. Uh, I don't know about the comment. So I go through comments right before I go to bed sometimes or whatever. It just depends. Um, I had the most people ever reach out to me behind the scenes about that interview. That was going to be an interview again. So I'm not chasing those numbers right now. I remember one time it was over the mob tube stuff. It was like at midnight and there was almost 300 people in the chat. And I think it was Jeff Nadeau. Somebody told me, was it Lee? Somebody's like, can you believe this guy's got this much in the chat? I would go on and off trying to follow like the analytics stuff, but generally about a week on and off. And that's how it was. So this isn't like I'm not striving to make a living here at this point. I should be at 100,000 subs, probably said Chad Marks, you idiot. But yeah, for sure. For sure. It's all been me. And I'm not getting back into the shit talking. I'm not going to say I won't ever say something, but I'm just not. And of course, I've done like talk about addiction. I talk about some people like me talking about personal stuff. Some people don't. Blah, blah. I'm here. I'm here. I'm just here. That's what it is. So, but the likes, yeah, I get it. That bumps up the algorithm or whatever. Yeah, I get it, and I appreciate it. I don't want to sound like I don't, but okay. Thanks to Doug Ross. Felons are only good people. Yes. All right. Let's see. Dude, Copenhagen, fine cut. Can't do it. For years. Quit after gums receding. Yeah. Listen. Absolutely. And I remember. Oh, Doug. Okay. Okay. Well, no, don't do it. I'm gonna quit. Not like the story of my life. I'm gonna quit. Yeah. Oh, so you are desperate. That's funny, foosball. Listen. So I spit for well, I spit more now. It's usually a couple minutes and then I swallow. Oh my god, that's fucking. I was getting my fucking self into. Maybe like a sound bite, right? I just do. When cigarettes were banned in Indiana, they still allowed chewing tobacco for a while. Yeah, right. So too many people filed. Jason. So Jason was Indiana prison system. The feds made everybody stop pretty much. If you don't have people stop smoking or alcohol 21, we're going to not fund you, blah, blah, blah. So in the feds, we were told that too many lawsuits, Robert, tell crap and more money, something will give again, be yourself and fuck everyone else. Right on. 100% Rob, tell crap and more money, something. Yeah, talk crap. Yeah, for sure. We were told because everybody filing lawsuits, and there were a lot of people filing lawsuits. Foosball. Ironically, I was in NC prison when they took tobacco out. Oh, yes, it was crazy. People were pissed. Cigarettes went for $50 each. 5+ full cigarettes. People getting jumped. Massive shakedowns. It was wild. Joey B for sure. Let me tell you, and I've said this before. I had 50 cartons, 12 in a carton of bugler, stacked up. Busted a hole. This is at Lewisburg. Hamley Kennedy busted a hole in the wall downstairs in F block. Or had a guy named Jack do it. Busted a hole, put 50 cartons in the wall, sealed the wall back up. And this is center block walls, by the way. I started using heroin again after a long. So I was clean at Butner. That was the longest period of time. But Lewisburg for a while, when I first got there, was like treatment center. Um, every 6 months or 4 months, that dope would hit, and you better have your money, and it's gone that same day. I got, I found out I had Hep C, found out I had cancer right on the heels of the Hep C, and I was sober, devastated, whatever you want to say. And then I had the interferon treatments, and then I stopped, and then I got denied my second or successive 2255, which was government misconduct, prosecutor misconduct. I had three people recanted. So I basically 6 witnesses against me in my case, three recanted. And the appeals court took a year to get back. It was a big deal. People thought I was going home for sure. And they said, yes, these three people lied, said they lied, but these three didn't. And the way that they put it was, it just sucked. But that day, I walked upstairs, and I know exactly who. I'm not going to say. I wouldn't say it like that. And got our heroin. Went on a run. Cigarettes. The first day went to $5 a pack for Bugler. First week, $5 a pack for Bugler. I busted a hole in the wall about 4 days into the run that I went on, month, whatever. And I sold them at $5 a pack. Actually, the day I took the cartons out, sold them all for $5 a pack. They went up to $50 a pack that day. $50 a pack that day. And of course, I went to Butner 2007. I was being interviewed by SIS, the intelligence service. One of them was playing good cop, one of them bad cop. They didn't want to let me walk in the hospital. They wanted me locked in the shoe because of gang, whatever. And one of the cops at intake heard them and then came and approached me and said, do you want cigarettes? I know who you are. Heard them say, blah, blah, I'll look you up. $500 a carton. $500 a carton. Send it to this address. I'm bringing cigarettes. That happened for 6 months, 8 months, or whatever. He never got in trouble. Never got nothing. And yeah, and I did not sell the cigarettes. I traded them for pills. That's when I became. Well, I was already doing H, but that's when I started doing. That's real hillbilly shit for sure. That's when I started doing prescription pills. I was only in 8 months, but just happened to catch that little piece of history. Right on. I didn't witness the change in Dunstable, but I did in Indiana. I'm sitting here smoking a. You fuck, Tammy. Why? Okay. How many? You said you were in the block with me. So no smoking in Canadian prisons, but you get opiates, fucking nuts, packing tobacco in your ass. Now dope given by prison. Yeah, I've went through Oklahoma. Was 5 packs? I think I got 5 packs, and it tastes like shit. It tastes like shit. If you didn't know, people, I'm going out with it. If you keister something, you happen to your colon, and maybe there's something in there, or it starts coming out when you have it in there for 8 hours or whatever, and the feces touches the outside of the rubber. I don't give a damn how many layers of rubber you have on it. I had rubber fingers, gloves. It's like shit. And I have actually Zip, Rob, what are you doing, kid? Talking. Are you jammed up? In which way? What do you mean? Good old ass tobacco, Joey. So there was a guy in Leavenworth, black dude, brought in tar. It tastes like shit. And nobody wanted it. Of course, they didn't want to put it out. And me and two of my brothers bought it all. Oh my God. It's fucking great dope. Asked him, but man, that's scumbag. Yeah. Those were the days. All right, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys later. Zip is making me leave because he said my article sucked, basically. I'm kidding. Yeah, it was just random shit that I did in prison. No answer, Rob. It's cool. Wait, answer what? Are you jammed up? What do you mean jammed up? Giving out dope in drummer. Hold on. Drummer penitentiary. The addicts are given opiates to keep guys from killing each other. Justin, thanks, Justin. Uh, Killing each other. Oh, fuck, come on. Okay, first of all, Zip, yeah, this is what I'm gonna say. Let's say I'm whacked out right now, okay? Yeah, Zip, man, fucking, you got me, bro. Hey, judge, who's watching in probation, I'm so fucking high. Come on, why are you being stupid? That's just moronic shit. For real. Hang out. Okay, you want me to hang out for a minute, Jason? Because I'm so wasted, I think I will, right? I just, so what did somebody say? Oh, was it you, Zip? Were you the one that left a comment? Asked back. Were you the one that left the comment that I didn't go on or put my face? Somebody said he's not putting the camera on because he's too high, and you can see by the eyes was high. Ron Gross. We'll say tonight, like I was having the issue with the camera. First of all, I wouldn't say that, and second of all, like I wouldn't acknowledge. People, am I supposed to answer that? If let's assuming that was true, but it was camera. Ron Gross knew it from the beginning. Anyway, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, man. I don't go into, yeah. It's okay. No, no, no. So it's not that. It's just like, but I didn't know what you meant when you said jammed up. I never heard that expression for real. I never have. Um, Dry snitching. I was like fully. I can't get into it because that'll start in the mob thing. I asked a question. You got offended. So be it. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. Damn, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? You had the sickest vendetta when it came to Sean. Sean in high school. And SEAN. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out who you are. Or at Zip for trying to bring up BS. You know, the dude has been struggling. Nah, no, Joe, it's cool for real. No, it's cool. No, it's not. It's more on. Rob is as tech savvy as dead grandma. My grandma knows more fact. Ron knows. So I set up Convict Inc. This is through StreamYard. In 11 something, I set it up and I told Ron, I said, if I can get this camera working, you're all right, Zip. Seriously. But Sean, I would go back to this one. Who are you? You had the sickest vendetta when it came to the cheddar. Uh, I'm not sure I follow it. Sickest vendetta? I'm not sure. Like, so vendetta when it came to cheddar. In high school, uh, yeah, I was selling pot early age and I dropped out after getting busted in Pedro High School in the 10th grade. And it took, and trying to think, but I wasn't like, it was the partying, not the money for sure. Anyway, I'm just trying to figure out exactly. Anyway, are you just trying to, that's like a rhyme. Rob, it's song. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm trying to think of who was in high school with me. All right. Yeah. Overthinking, Joey. Yeah, for sure. For sure. uh, yeah, so I didn't much listen to much 50 Cent. And I'm gonna say the reason why it's not I listened to right on foosball. Uh maybe wrong. But I miss 50 Cent. Like I didn't listen to that. And I didn't listen to much. I wouldn't listen to rap much in prison because I was white. And I was part of the white car and did white things and white TV and what and ate white tables. And that's prison shit, right? And I said it on one of the lives not long ago. The white guys that came in that were especially 10, 15 years younger than me, part of the hip hop culture that America has become. And I'm not saying that even in a derogatory way. Uh, I didn't understand, you know, and then they get on so-called white time. And then if one of them annoyed me or just whatever, I usually zeroed in on the type of music they were listening to, and I'd pull up their MP3 player, right? And I'd see if there's more rap than rock. Like I didn't like I just dismissed them, or I didn't just like blatantly, but in my mind, I was like, oh, it's just a little Wigger. That's how I looked at it. And then I got out right on zip. Yeah. So then I got out and uh, started listening to Jelly Roll and Struggle, and New Breed, and that's really what I listen to now. No bullshit. Weed bitches and the Surf Brothers, fire on the beats. That's the life, Rob. Uh, that's what it all started off as, for real. Surfing. I was with a girl that in junior high that became my wife, first wife, but wasn't very faithful. Said no. Yeah, I've been surfing. That's what my whole drug dealing thing started off as, just to surf. And now that I'm thinking about it and just pondering, I was conflicted always because I always had like the instilled family values in me from my parents on the kids, wife, job, career. But then there was this other side, which both still exist today, I guess, and not in a criminal way, just two different people. Okay. No, never met Anthony. No. And I got him confused with Henry all the time. What's up with the fam Irish from the Bay Area? They got shamrocks all over them, and one leader is the head of the AB. Okay. Sean, I don't know. I honestly don't know right now. So I'm kind of out of the loop when it comes to the prison gang stuff. Um, and you're talking about California, so the Bay Area. I honestly don't know. 16 Life did a video about 50 Cent's taking over Cali prisons. How everyone was listening to get rich or die trying to drop it. Okay, I got it, Trev. When I went to the LA slash California system, it was NWA and Guns N' Roses. That's what it was all about. Um, that was the first time I was around any other race but whites and Mexicans. Wow, Tammy, I just talked to Dusty. You'd be surprised. So let me go back again. This person that calls himself Tammy Kennedy knows me. Uh, was in Lewisburg with me. I don't know who it is, and it's kind of driving me crazy at times. And I'm sure he or she or whatever is loving it. Dusty was freaking frack. Okay. I became a dirty white boy because of Dusty. You can say that. Meaning I hung around Dusty. Dusty was NLR to California, but hung with the dirty white boys, became dirty white boys and NLRs in the system. When he did that, they didn't have gang presence, I should say. And me and Dusty were like that. That was like my dude. Tammy, if you would have asked me, name three people that you know for sure is going to come back to prison, spend their life, commit some fucking wild crime, come back to prison, I would have said Dusty was one of them. Complete opposite. He got out. He came back in. He may or may not have done things that he always did, and completely turned his life around. He's making over 150 grand a year right now. I don't know if they got married, met a girl. Um, he's doing phenomenal and lectures me. We talked about he was going to come on. He wants to put the prison shit all the way behind him for real, which is another thing that's mind blowing, right? And I'm sure that since I didn't talk to him for a year or more, and he was going to come here at one point. Went and saw Billy, if you remember Billy. They fell out. They don't talk no more, but was going to come here. Didn't. And then I talked to him again when I was in the county jail in Washington County in April and May. And, every time I got on the phone with him was just rah, rah, read me the riot act for real. Um, Yeah. So the biggest surprise out of anybody, I would say, would be Dusty. I mean, yeah, I mean, the dude is just for real, for real. You don't know the guys. I was going to say I talked to somebody else that was from Lewisburg. You weren't at Lewisburg. I'm almost positive that I can't say 100%, Justin, but I'm almost positive that he is. Okay, there you go, Sean. Thank you. Bingham was part Jewish too. Uh, yeah. So I mean, I didn't know. I don't. No, not Dusty the Weld. No. Let me see, Doug. What'd you say? You take care tonight, bro. One day at a time. Remember that took a lot of years to get in the shape you are now, and going to take some time to get guys head wrapped around this world out in the free world. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot I can say on just that comment right there. I appreciate it. No, Dusty was not a welder. Dusty was a career criminal, and we did a lot of years together. A lot. Leavenworth, Lewisburg, and yeah, a lot. Real close. Real super close. And I think on that note, if there's no more comments coming in right now, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, thank you. And I'll see you soon. Oh, where's the video? So next door to me, so on my property, there's two houses. One is where I'm at right now, with the fine paneling on the wall. And the other, some of you guys know that have followed me, I've shot videos, is a little house that was built in 1910. Um, I've used that house. Okay, in the center of it, there's a chimney right in the middle of the house. In the center, the floor is caving in. I assumed all along that it was joists broken on foundation issues. This house has major foundation issues from this wall back, except for where my bedroom's at in the back. Um, and it's getting worse quick. Um, I thought that this house or that other house had problems. I some months ago found out there was a crawl space in it. And recently, a few weeks ago, I went down under the house. Big crawl. I mean, it's perfect under there, by the way. And this house is tight back on this right behind me, underneath. And there are no beams are broken, nothing. It it's sinking in where the chimney has weighed it down, and all it needs is a beam across some joists, pump brought up, center blocks put on. It's not a problem whatsoever. That house I've used for storage. When I bought this place, when I first got out, was in a fortunate situation, and the people that lived here, there was 3 siblings that never married, grew up in that little house next door. Mother killed herself next door, in the tree outside, hung herself because the dad died of her husband died of black lung, she missed him. It was like more of a love story. I mean, so all those siblings' property was in this house. It was inherited by the nephew who was like 80, or 78, whatever. And everything, furniture, clothes. They had a lot of cash. They were wealthy. There was a lot of cash found in this house before I got it, like 70 grand. And clothes, and old people kept stuff like that. And I mean, and barn in the back, all full of all full of this house was completely full of people's stuff and antiques from the mom, you name it. Recently, I've cleaned that house out. I've cleaned this. I gave away everything I've got. Sold some antiques. Just kept this house. I don't have much stuff like I used to. It's barely any shit. So after I crawled into the house, I started looking at it. And when I thought I was going to prison here 10 days ago, whatever it was, I had a renter for this place who would cover the mortgage insurance and perfect. I mean, it was perfect, right? So when I didn't go in, or she was bummed, and because she wanted to like owner finance stuff, whatever. But I'm like, hey, I'm not, I'm not in a position where I can move right now. Da, da, da. And like I commented, maybe started thinking about that other house. Now there's no water in it. There is electricity that was hooked up, and it's old electricity with wires hanging. It all works. I just found out it all works. Again, there's no water. It's a separate address from this house. And I did a little video tonight, which I sent to one of my friends who's watching, or maybe by now he's not. I was gonna post it on Facebook or just something. And I decided a couple days ago, Wednesday, Thursday, to start tearing off the wallpaper because it's all wallpaper. It's got vinyl or linoleum or whatever. The floor, the first layer was put down in 1929. I know because underneath that, there's newspapers that are all in place. I started reading stuff from 1929. Anyway, there's 3 rooms, basically got what would be considered a kitchen area, front room, side room, bedroom, whatever. I cleaned out one of the rooms. I stripped the wallpaper and got the linoleum up off the floor. The second layer, by the way, 1945. All the newspapers back then all wore. And let me talk about. So majority white country. I know a lot of my friends of color would say racist country, racist systems. I read these papers and it was like, Chinks do this, Japs do that. I mean, we couldn't nowadays. That would be like you get banned from YouTube, living, breathing. But it was a trip to see it. N word all in it. I was tripping when I was reading it. But I cleaned the room off. Wallpaper came off easy. The wood is immaculate in that house. And I'm gonna maybe tomorrow. I don't know if the Wi-Fi is bad down here as it is. I'm gonna probably make a little studio-ish. Just put a table. I got a flag, not a flag, a shower curtain. Camel Joe, and it's huge. And I'm gonna put it behind me, just temporary. It's just a temporary little area, but I'm gonna start shooting videos or doing lives from inside there. And yeah, I'm gonna that is like I have all this stuff. There's 2 windows that need window frames, the old windows that need to be redone. A carpenter guy came up, real estate person came in here just Saturday, and I know, and looked at that place and said, "There's the gem of the property right there." You know, if you had this house even functional, like how it would increase the value of this big time. And I'm really taking a look at that. You know, best laid plans, talk a lot, say I'm going to do this or that. That's doable because it's not a whole bunch of shit. Have somebody that's going to go underneath the house with me, and like I said, it's a simple job. It's simple. And but moral of the story, I guess, was that I'm going to start shooting stuff from over there. And like I said, it's the old wood. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I missed it all these years. You know, I was gonna burn it down, tear it down, sell all the wood, all kinds of different shit. But let me see, I'm about done. You should get Hector Pagan to get off. I'm not sure that is. I'm not sure. Rob, how is the dude who bought the Harley and got cancer and went shoplifting? Oh, Frank. Matter of fact, an article I wrote about Frank. Uh Inmate, stockbroker, turned returns to Buffalo, whatever. And that article that I wrote that went on blogs, uh, Jacket Up Row, Easy Stuff. Yeah, Ron, that guy. Oh, wait a minute. No, someone you were in jail with who now welds or works offshore oil. I thought. Ron, I'm not sure. Going back to how is the dude who bought the heart? I talked to him a month ago before the court stuff. Told him what was going on. Of course, he was had a lot to say, but he was getting like booted out of his apartment because they found out he was a felon. Somebody complained or whatever, and I haven't heard from him since. Who was I in jail with at Wells? I'm trying to think. It's slipping my mind right now. All right, Zip, take care. Doug Ross, take care. Ruby Tuesday popped up. Blast from the past. I'm doing Ruby Tuesday. Vinny, I just made an announcement about it. I'll talk to him tomorrow for the first time. We'll be talking to him tomorrow. Ruby, so you haven't probably followed anything. I'm okay. I'm good. I made an announcement about my cancer, about the status of it last night on last night's live. Pathology report could be worse. Okay, watch the fuck out. Oh, Doug Ross. Now you're gonna keep me talking. Asbestos. So they say that what is it, linoleum, whatever's on the floor, they put down in wallpaper. Let me see. What did you write? Doug, huge asbestos problem in the house. And let me tell you something. I'm a pyro by nature. And I don't, man, I shouldn't say it like that. So I've got a pit in the back that I dug deep, put big rocks around, like it was going to be like a fire barbecue pit. That became like a trash pit. Where I'm at, you burn. People burn. Okay. And I just started burning everything. I burned everything. So it's a big pile. It's like, I'm going to dig a hole and just bury it. So uh, I started burning that linoleum. And all, by the way, all those old newspapers I burnt. Why? Because I'm tired of saving shit and I just give it away. And selling it doesn't work out for me that well. Burned it, didn't want it. Yeah, 1929 full newspapers, all that. That linoleum started burning, Doug, and it was going up. There was no wind. It was cold outside, getting ready to like rain, but it's cold. And I came from one of the barn area and was walking. The smoke went low and hit me. That was Friday. Friday. I think I burned it Friday. Um, I still have lung problems today. I am still breathing badly from today. When I went in there and stripped the floor and the wallpaper, I have a mask on that has the breathing stuff. Yeah, so I've got that whole thing. But 100% right. And I could not believe it. And I spit shit out of my lungs yesterday. And I'm talking, it only hit. I just walked through, the smoke came down, hit it, and it just, 100%. You're right. Total asbestos. Total, for sure. Thanks, Foosball. I appreciate it. I mean it now. Good night. All right, Red Dog. Yeah, we do. Right on. Okay, I'm gonna go, you guys. Asbestos only debris. Asbestos is only debris before 1982. Well, it's it's in me now for sure. It's in my lungs now. Good night. See you guys later. I'm gone.